Phil White
on BBC Radio Humberside.
At 1 o'clock, the lunchtime news now. Lara King, good afternoon.
Hi Phil, good afternoon. The main stories this lunchtime. It's claimed new mobile technology means Humberside police officers will be able to spend more time in their communities. 2 men are jailed for their part in an armed robbery at a jeweller's in Beverley. And it was a big weekend for Grimsby's trio of Strictly Come Dancing stars.
BBC Radio Humberside.
News at 1.
Humberside's Police and Crime Commissioner says new mobile technology means officers will be able to spend more time in their communities. Matthew Grove hopes the tablet devices being given out later will allow them to complete paperwork without returning to police stations. Trials showed 2 hours per week could be saved.
In this day and age, information is quite simply power, and to have police officers equipped with the right information out in the field on patrol gives them that extra edge to guard us all against the criminals that are out there.
And there'll be more on that with Andy Comfort after 5 this afternoon. 2 men have been jailed for their part in an armed robbery at a jeweller's in Beverley in August 2013. Kevin Smith got 12 years and Jack O'Neill 9 years. They pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit robbery after police said the pair had been watching the Guest and Phillips shop before the raid. High-value watches were taken in the robbery. A man who killed 5 people 36 years ago but was later released from a secure mental hospital has admitted possessing guns and making a bomb. Both cases involved disputes with his neighbours. Phil Mackey reports from Birmingham Crown Court.
After a long-running row about noise, in October 1978, Barry Williams shot and killed his neighbours George and Iris Burkett, as well as their son Philip, then shot and killed Mikel and Lisa de Maria at their petrol station near Nuneaton. After pleading guilty to manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility, he was sent to Broadmoor indefinitely. Despite complaints to the Home Secretary, he was released in 1994. He changed his name to Harry Street and became involved in a series of disputes with his new neighbours in Hall Green in Birmingham. Detectives discovered the weapons and the homemade bomb last October. He'll be sentenced later.
Northumbria police are reinvestigating 54 complaints of rape about which detectives had concluded there was no evidence of a crime. 48 officers have been moved to other duties. The cases date back over the last 3 years. There needs to be a radical change of attitude if we're to tackle the problem of modern slavery. That's according to a leading academic in the study of forced labour in Hull. Dr Mick Wilkinson says more cases are appearing in our area and there aren't enough resources to currently combat the issue properly.
The Gang Masters Licensing Authority, I believe that should be expanded into all areas of temporary labour, and its resources should be increased exponentially. You also need forced labour to become a policing priority in every force in the country, and sadly it's not. And thirdly, and I think this is crucial, we do need a one-off amnesty for these up to 800,000 undocumented migrants.
Funding has been secured by the University of Hull to set up a research centre aimed at finding effective ways of tackling forced labour. Professor Kevin Bales is a professor of contemporary slavery at the university.
A country like the UK could actually be a completely slave-free country. We could do that here. We have good, honest police. We have decent border controls. We have a lot of things going for us. If we put the resources and some political commitment behind it, this could be a slave-free country.
A British businessman, Shrien Douani, has gone on trial in South Africa, accused of murdering his wife on their honeymoon. He's pleaded not guilty. 3 South Africans are already serving long jail terms for their part in the killing 4 years ago. Mr Douani fought a long legal battle against being sent to Cape Town to stand trial. From the court, here's Karen Allen.
Shrien Douani, dressed in a dark suit, appeared composed and spoke clearly when he formally denied charges of murder. Seated to his right in a packed Cape Town courtroom were members of his own family. On his left, those of Annie, his 28-year-old bride, who he's accused of murdering. In a case which is likely to focus on the testimony of 3 alleged co-conspirators already jailed for their part in the crime, Mr Douani said in a statement that he was bisexual. The trial is likely to dwell extensively on the nature of the couple's relationship, but Mr Douani said that he was instantly attracted to Annie when they first met.
Police are investigating the apparent suicide of a woman who'd been accused of posting abusive internet messages about the parents of Madeleine McCann. The body of Brenda Leyland was found in a hotel room in Leicestershire on Saturday. A few days earlier, she'd been confronted by a Sky News reporter who accused her of being an internet troll. Resurfacing work on the M180 has started again today, but the Highways Agency says every effort will be made to keep traffic disruption to a minimum. The eastbound side near Scunthorpe was closed in August, and the agency admitted it caused unacceptable delays. One lane is shut from today, and the work is expected to be finished by January. It was a big weekend for Grimsby's trio of Strictly Come Dancing stars. Kevin and his sister Joanne both got through with Frankie Bridge and Scott Mills, respectively, whilst Kevin's fiancée Karen Howard also made it through with Mark Wright. Kevin and Joanne's dad, Keith Clifton, says he's really proud of them.
It's a very humbling experience with our kids being out there. It's, there's 10 million people looking at this programme, voting and spending money on our kids. It's extremely humbling.
BBC Radio Humberside Sport.
And all your lunchtime sport now from Tim Steer.
Thanks, Lara. Good afternoon. Hull City manager Steve Bruce has praised the impact leading scorer Nikita Jelavic has had on his team so far this season. Jelavic's goal against Crystal Palace at the weekend was his fourth of the season, equalling his tally for the club throughout last year. And Bruce says he has worked hard to get his reward.
He's been terrific all season. I thought last week against Manchester City he was excellent. It was good for him because he wants to be like every good number 9. He wants to score, and he's got himself in great shape, great nick, and that's all down to him and his attitude for it, because since he's arrived in 12 months he's got the heart the size of a bucket, and it's great when he scores a goal because he deserves it.
Scunthorpe United manager Russ Wilcox says cutting out individual mistakes is the key to improving their form. Saturday's loss to Doncaster was the Irons' third defeat in a row, and pressure is mounting on Wilcox from some sections of the support. And he says the errors are hampering good performances.
We've got to cut out these mistakes. It's happening week in, week out. It's hard to put your finger on how to address that because it's different personnel each week. It's different reasons. It's not just the same individual or down to shape or tactics or anything else. It's just down to individuals making wrong choices.
Grimsby Town boss Paul Hurst says his side are targeting victory against Altrincham tomorrow in order to repay the fans. Saturday's draw at Dartford came after a loss in their last home game to Southport. But Hurst admits it won't be easy after Altrincham defeated second place Halifax at the weekend.
Great result for them. I think yet again there's been some different results in the league, and it's proving to be highly competitive from the bottom to the top. But we're at home. We know we want to put back right from Tuesday at home in front of his own fans.
Cardiff City are set to announce the former Grimsby Town boss Russell Slade as their new manager today. Slade had been working for the Bluebirds on a consultancy basis. On to cricket, and wicketkeeper Matt Pryor says he will have his right of reply to Kevin Peterson after his former England colleague criticised him today in a national newspaper. Peterson described him as being a disruptive influence in the England dressing room, and Pryor insists he's sad to hear the accusations, but he won't be responding to them today. The Marussia Formula One team have asked for patience and understanding with regard to further medical updates on Jules Bianchi. The French driver suffered a severe head injury at yesterday's Japanese Grand Prix and has undergone surgery. Hull Stingrays coach Omar Pasha says they need to be more ruthless in front of goal. The Rays had 48 shots against the Dundee Stars at the weekend, but lost 5-2 in front of their home fans.
We got to get dirtier. And to be honest, I thought we missed the net at least 15 times too. So there has to be traffic in front now. Don't get too pretty now. Just drive the net, and good things will happen. And you shoot 48 times, you expect more than 2 goals. That's for sure.
And in Rugby League, Sam Burgess will have surgery on his fractured cheekbone tomorrow and faces around 6 to 8 weeks out of action. Burgess was injured in the early stages of the NRL Grand Final, his last game in Rugby League before he switches codes to join Bath, but he stayed on for the whole 80 minutes, won the Man of the Match award as well, as South Sydney claimed the title. And that's all your sport for now.
It's time for all your travel news, and here's Greg Edwards.
In Scunthorpe, first of all, Simon gave us a call a little while ago to tell us about a tree falling across Ferriby Road. Now, the police tell us they've quickly moved that tree out of the way, so things should be back to normal there. The M180, meanwhile, daytime roadworks are underway now between Junction 2, the Belton turn-off, and Junction 3 at Scunthorpe, with a lane closure in both directions, but those restrictions should be lifted by about 3:30 this afternoon. Traffic on the approaches to the Myton Gate roundabout looking busier than usual according to our sensors. If you do spot any other traffic problems, call in if it's safe to do so on 0330 123 0182, and there's more online at bbc.co.uk/Humberside.
Thanks, Greg. Let's get the latest lunchtime weather now. Here's Paul Hudson.
A cloudy afternoon with further outbreaks of rain at times and feeling quite cold with highs of 11 Celsius, that's 52 degrees Fahrenheit. This evening and overnight, cloudy at first, still a risk of a bit of patchy rain, but it will become dry, some mist and fog later, lows of 7 degrees. A grey start tomorrow. It will brighten up with a risk of showers.
And that's the latest news from BBC Radio Humberside. We'll have an update for you at 2.
Very good. Thank you very much.
On your marks, get set, bake!
It's the final week of the Great British Bake Off, and the oven gloves are off.
Don't expect winning to be a piece of cake.
I think they're fairly uniform, apart from that one.
Half-baked ideas just won't cut it.
I don't think it matters, to be honest. Don't tell Paul that. At this stage, good enough just isn't good enough.
My layers of mascarpone are uneven. They're going to notice that.
Oh, we'll notice all right.
With just 3 bakers left, the heat is on high. The Great British Bake Off, the final, on Wednesday night at 8 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
Can't wait. It's National Cake Week this week as well. Did you know that?
This is Phil White
On BBC Radio Humberside.
I don't want any cake.